Bichara Supply Chain, highlighting and showcasing solutions for the most complex challenges facing the industry in 21st century by our team of subject matter experts and mentors. Broadcasting every week, all year round, we will present the most up-to-date series of podcasts and webinars.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bichara Supply Chain. This is Nur Hadi House. I'm speaking out with Farzana Shubarna. She is a GLOCAL strategist for supply chain operation, spent for many years in the leadership roles at the multinational corporation, and currently is a global director for collaborative manufacturing at Unilever. So thanks for joining us, Farzana, and welcome to Bichara Supply Chain.
Thank you for having me, and hello everyone. It's my pleasure.
Okay, so this is the episode number 102, and today's topic is the supply chain model for growth from global to local perspective. But before we go to discussion, Farzana, can you please brief a bit for yourself and your professional background?
Sure. By the way, congratulations on crossing over your 100th episode. That's excellent and exciting.
Thanks so much.
So I'm educationally a chemical engineering. I've studied and essentially started my professional career in USA. My objective has always been very learning oriented. So I have started my career in food and beverage, purely in manufacturing and operation, plant operations, safety, quality, capital investment, and automation. And that was my first 10 years or so, and the remaining years of my career, I have really focused in supply chain. That is end-to-end supply chain, starting from planning, procurement, production, distribution, and logistics. Keeping the learning aptitude in mind, I've worked in B2B, B2C, B2E, so worked companies like Anheuser Busch in USA, L'Oreal in USA, and in Europe a little bit, IFF, International Flavors and Fragrances in Europe and Americas. And I came to Asia through IFF. In last couple of years, I worked for DSM, who is a nutritional and life science company, and recently joined Unilever. So overall, what I try to do is prepare my career as industry agnostic supply chain professional who has an overview across regions and across business model. And I'm really happy to continue that journey.
Wow. Talking about the supply chains approach, Farzana, I think in general we do have a global approach, a local approach, and then you have mentioned about new terminology called a GLOCAL. So what does it mean, a GLOCAL, and why now is very important?
It is absolutely important under circumstances to go into a global strategy, global mindset, global execution. So yeah, to your question, let me answer first. What is a global model? It is essentially taking the concept of thinking global, acting local. So if I were to really break it down into different functions, this is how it looked like. Let's say you would do global research. You will do global international pricing analysis. Maybe a lot of market comparison would have at a global level. But in terms of developing the design and network, it has to be local. In terms of anticipating the trend, it's local. In terms of pricing model and communication, it's local. In terms of different contracts, it's local. Wow. So now we leverage the big global benefits of a company or market, but when you are really carving your path for growth, it's all local. The talent is local, the communication is local, the network mapping is local, the tool you use is local. I give you a quick example. If you were trying to use Amazon in North Asia, including China, Taiwan, and so forth, it would not be as effective as if you used WeChat.
All right.
Immediately, you have to design your supply chain. You have to design your interactive data visual tools, data analytics tool that talk with that platform, not Amazon. So as you can see, immediately your investment, your digital platform strategy, everything needs to be very local. You may have a very global approach saying that we are going to be data oriented and we are going to really approach to e-commerce. But when we come to localization, it's a very specific local strategy. Hope that helps.
And what are the key prerequisites of successful global strategy for supply chain?
Sure. So the key strategies are, first, the tools and process development needs to be global so that the organization can leverage from it. They can learn what's the best practice and quickly adopt. Second, the talent and network design needs to be local, because the network that works in Americas, the how and why and who in logistics, transportation, and route to market would not work in Asia, Latin America, Middle East, and Russia, and so on and so forth. So the design of the network, the design of the tool, apart from the design of the tool, everything needs to be local. Talent needs to be local so that you can connect with the insight of community and your end customers, and you understand their problems, whether they want it in a 5-day time or whether they want it in a 2-day cycle, whether the minimum quantity is 10 gram versus 200 gram. That communication and that relationship building. So the talent has to be local. A lot of times we try to get European talent and bring it to different markets and think that they're going to bring in success. It hasn't been very successful. So we really, if we want to grow, it needs to be here. The third, it needs to be really agile. So in the local market, the dynamics of this supply chain, customer demand, in terms of the volume, in terms of the pricing, changes very frequently. So if we have a model which is very global, that's not going to work. So we need to have something that is local in that aspect also. And the last thing that I will say is visibility. Visibility is so important in a global model. And visibility in 2 ways. One, everybody in the local team needs to know why we are doing it. That's the global visibility. And the 2 is everybody in the global community needs to know how we are doing it. That's the local visibility. So total, it's the global visibility that can help you leverage what's happening in the rest of the world, help you leverage how to go faster in the market, and help you leverage to really get the consumer insight and design locally. So there's those 3 or 4 things that's very important for a global supply chain model.
And can you also please elaborate a bit on how the supply chain impact of a global strategy implementation?
Global or global?
I was referring to global strategy. Yes.
Right. So I think the first thing of starts, it's understanding the market and understanding the network.
Okay.
So implement a global strategy. First thing one must do is understand the local landscape and local network design. What we need to do is have local talent. We need to make sure people who know the market and the distribution models, they are essentially part of the team. Third, we need to do is adopt tools, digital platform processes, which are locally customizable. So if I take a platform from Germany for supplier scouting, and if I try to put it into, let's say, Indonesia, and it's not customizable for language, it's not customizable for different regions or, let's say, islands, then it's totally not effective, right? So if you use the platform and you're not able to do queries customized to local, it's no good. So the third element, as I was saying, the tools and the processes needs to move from a global bucket into a local bucket. Third, the visibility. So the global leaders need to give a lot of visibility to the local strategy team so that they really understand the big picture. Because if I am looking into only my market, and if I'm looking into only the efficiency and looking only into the productivity, only looking into the inventory for local market, now the moment it gets compared to a global model, I am compared with Brazil, I'm compared with Russia, I'm compared with Europe, then I may not be really competing myself in those inventory and runtime and OTIF and all that. So it is important that global leaders give very good visibility of local strategies so the local strategists can really design in comparison with the global landscape. That is the inside modeling to say, I have visibility how it works in Africa or Middle East or Northern Africa, and I want to compete in terms of my supply chain performance and KPI. I want to be competing at par so that I don't fall behind and look unprofitable, right? So that visibility I feel is the really, really, really important in terms of making a global supply chain very successful.
At Bichara Supply Chain, we are committed to driving global perspective to embrace technological adaptation in improving process efficiencies. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share Bichara Supply Chain. And stay tuned for the latest updates. To learn more, visit our website www.bicharasupplychain.com. Thank you for listening to us. We look forward to seeing you at our next episode.